Hi everyone, my name's Noah. My wife and I have been attending THCC for about 10 years now. In fact, it's the first church that we visited when we arrived from Canada, and we've stayed ever since. I'm coming to you from my allotment. Would you guys like a quick tour? So this is our lovely shed, and we've got some homeschooling going on here. We have some hops plants which I need to string up, lots of berries, some strawberries growing, and then potatoes, carrots, and other vegetables. It's one of the things that's helped keeping us sane during this lockdown. So, I'd like to share with you a little bit about my testimony, about my journey of faith. I didn't grow up a Christian. As a young kid, I grew up in a small village in Canada, a couple hundred people, and it was an idyllic childhood in many ways. And I had some Christian influence. I'd go to vacation Bible school now and then for a week, but Jesus was not my Lord at that point. And as a teenager, we moved from there to a larger city of about 1 million people in Ottawa. And growing up as a young man, being far from God, I guess what the Bible says in 1 John, that the world, what it seeks after is the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. And I could say that characterized my life, just seeking, pleasure, entertainment. And one of the things that led me to was getting pretty deep into like the warehouse rave scene, doing drugs, going to parties, and that led me to a pretty dark place actually. At a warehouse party in Toronto, I witnessed someone getting stabbed to death. That wasn't fun. A good friend of mine nearly killed himself he had something called amphetamine-induced psychosis. Yeah, it quickly led to a very bad place. But at that time, my sister got saved, and she brought my mom back to her faith, and they started praying for me. And it must have been very discouraging for them, because I remember waving a joint in front of my sister's face and saying, "Oh, this is better than your God." And I remember telling my mom she should take ecstasy because it's the path to true freedom. But they continued to pray for me, and I was living by myself then, and my sister asked if she'd come stay at my house for a weekend to go to a young adults conference, and I said sure, and maybe I'll join you. And I went, and I remember God absolutely revealed himself to me. I felt like the entire event, the preacher at the front was just speaking to me. I went up to the front to get prayed for, and I remember the very real presence of God. And from that point on, I could not deny that God exists. But that was like an experience, but I needed to process it in my mind, and it took me a little while to work it through, but God kept on drawing me back to himself until finally the place where I gave my life to Jesus. And I had a few friends at that time, and I remember them saying to me that, "Noah, there used to be like a darkness to you which is gone now." And I can say that my life was transformed. The things which I was motivated by, the things which I lived for, the things which I sought after, the things which I valued, all changed. In fact, I applied to Bible college shortly after getting saved, to the pastoral program. I thought, if I'm going to live for God, why not go the whole way? And I was promptly rejected. It was good though, but I ended up doing a year in Bible college in a missions program, and yeah, the difference that God has made in my life is phenomenal. Taking the focus off of myself, and looking to love people, to love God, to serve people. It's been an amazing journey. That was nearly 20 years ago, and I can say that God has blessed me immensely. I have a beautiful wife. I have 4 beautiful children. I have a lovely church, and I would say that if you're watching this and you're not a Christian, and you wonder who Jesus is, and is he real. When I said I went to that young adults conference, it was intense. These young adults were going for it. They were worshiping, and everyone was really being moved by the Spirit. And I remember thinking, I can cross my arms and say these people are crazy, or I can open myself up and say what's going on here. And I did that. And I would encourage you to open yourself up and find out who Jesus is. That's my story. Thank you for listening.